make sure that if you don't have 11 finished, that you start to get that turned in and finished. We went over the bibliography with a video yesterday from a few emails from a couple of you. I know you worked together to make sure to get it down. Now, if you watch the bibliography video, you know I also talked about the article itself. Okay, so make sure that you're also listening to those videos to see if there's information about the article. Okay. The article from Harvard Business Review, which I think you guys have heard about Harvard once or twice. Is something written by the Harvard Business Review? Was that a credible source? Is that something that will have sufficient information? Yeah, right. It's going to be truthful because of the who Harvard is, right? Or what Harvard is as an institution. So it says, don't let your parents' disapproval derail your dreams. Do any of your parents do they disapprove of any of your dreams that you know of?
Yes.
They do? Like what?
I want to be a doctor just like my mom. And my grandma doesn't want me to do that. She wants me to be actually not a nurse. She wants me to be to work on animals and stuff.
Like a veterinarian?
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Yeah, either one would be all right. But if you don't like animals, that's difficult to deal with.
I cannot do animals. I can do people. I'm a very good people person. I like to talk to people.
So it starts off with, in every parent-child relationship, there are clashes when our choices depart from those our parents would have chosen for us. Have you guys ever had clashes over the fact you choose something different than your parents? Any examples that you want to share? Do you ever have any clashes with your parents, or do you ever have any disagreements when you choose something different than what they would normally choose?
Oh yeah. Me and my grandparents have big scream matches every day.
About what?
All types of stuff. We just have completely different opinions about so many different things. And then if I tell her my opinion, then she'll get mad at me and scream at me, and then I'll start screaming back because I don't like being screamed at.
Okay. What else?
Oh, I just want to go to track meets. And my mom's like, no, you should stay home and have a spa day with me. But I want to go out. She doesn't she wants me to stay home and hang out.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's fine, but I want to go out and she doesn't like me going out all the time.
What other kind of choices have caused conflict for you all?
Oh, I told my parents that if we bought a four-wheeler, then I would fix it up, and my dad didn't have to help me. He said, no, I don't want you going through the pain and stuff like that. And it was really annoying.
How's it annoying?
I said your work for you.
I saved up enough money to buy it.
He did my work.
Yeah.
Dad just fixed up the four-wheeler for you.
It's pretty big. It's a 450. And my mom
He'll
thinks
pick
it's
it
not
up,
safe.
but I would be working on it.
So is she making you wait?
I mean, I could drive it. She just doesn't really think it's safe. But
Okay.
I'm pretty careful.
Okay. How did you guys get to the point where she's going to let you drive it? Is there some kind of compromise you had to reach?
Oh, just when my dad's home.
Okay.
I like to ride it.
Okay, so he has to be around and present, and all right.
Wait, a car or four-wheeler?
Don't let him antagonize you. Okay, so that's kind of one of the first things that it talks about in this is that one, you probably had to have a conversation, right, Wilder?
Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily a yelling match, because that may not go as far, right? But it does say, whatever the case, negotiating these difficult conversations isn't easy. There are parents who navigate them with grace and intentionality. Some have a harder time loosening their grip, which I think is kind of what you're saying, Destiny, whereas your mother has a hard time loosening your grip, Wilder, right? But you had a conversation.
Yeah.
Getting to a conversation is probably the best way to get there, and not just a yelling match.
Have a conversation with her. She makes me so mad.
It's almost as if you're allowing your brain to be overstimulated and not be able to control that part of your brain. Like, I don't know, you're a teenager still developing. So it's difficult sometimes to do that, right? I understand. And I do think that that's where this article relies on who to navigate these difficult conversations. Who should be the one in charge navigating these conversations carefully? You or the parent? I would agree with you, Wilder, that probably both. But if the child isn't able to, who should be? Yeah. Hopefully the parent is the one keeping the cooler head. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it starts that way and it can end poorly on both sides. Sometimes it ends well. Okay. It says a part of becoming a healthy, independent adult is letting go of your need for approval, informing your own convictions and decision-making capabilities. That goes for both. Parents have to learn how to do that to let you to create your own decision-making capabilities, and you have to be willing to do that. Noah, that means mom can't do everything for you. Okay? Aiden, only because you both have said that if you need something, mom will usually take care of it for you, correct?
No, I never said this. I said you help me.
Okay. However, you can rely on them, right?
Your star test and then go into school
No,
flexing.
she didn't do
Your
it.
star test for you go into school flexing. You
She
got
didn't
12.
do it for me. She made me think my way through it.
Okay. It's not a bad way to start off. However, that's kind of where this rehearse the conversation, because that's the first thing that it says to do. Do any of you ever play it out in your head how a conversation is going to go with your parents?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
and
a
then
lot.
I started doing that and it goes so much better. And then like
No, I started doing
It
that
goes
and I
so
tried
much
going
better.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Baylor.
never works.
What do you do in order to rehearse the conversation?
I think about I already know what they're gonna say, so then I'm like, well, I'll either just say okay back because like, or I'll think what will not get me in trouble, and then get me to be able to go
I can show you
more
proof.
likely.
Okay.
And it actually works. So
Noah, you said it didn't work well for you when you've tried it.
Yeah, honestly.
How
I
come?
just get an attitude.
What happens?
It just, I plan what I'm gonna say, then I think I know what they're gonna say, but they say something different.
Okay. Do you ever think through maybe the possibilities of what they could say? More than one option?
Sometimes. It still doesn't work.
Okay.
or like conversations with new people, I'm like, oh my god.
Aiden?
what am I gonna say?
So I thought I had this thing, like I was thinking about like what my parents would say and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because my brother was being like nice to me one night, he wanted to go to his friend's house, so I was like trying to help him out. So I made like a slideshow for him, thinking that it would be a good idea.
I did that before.
You made a slideshow.
Yeah, and my brother kept on like taunting my parents with a screwdriver. And
That was
then, and then so on like every single slide, after I put a bunch of good facts, I would just say, and also, he has a screwdriver. And I made an entire slide just about that.
Did he get to go?
Oh no.
It's odd that you would think that taunting them with a screwdriver would convince them.
No, it wasn't like taunting. It was more like
Directed.
it was like more of like a sassy kind of thing.
Right.
Or like joking sassy.
I understand. Like he was just trying to be sarcastic.
Go, like because he had a screwdriver.
Probably because they had already said no and they were trying to convince the parents then to let him go after the fact. Yeah. So it's just an option. You can try that. It also gives you some ideas of resist defending your viewpoint. What does that mean? Did anyone read that part?
Resist defending.
Resist defending your viewpoint. What did they?
Oh, like don't keep pushing what you
I
have
found this
to
slide.
say, and like
I found the
after you say what's on your mind, you just say no.
Yeah. Just because you don't like their answer, don't take a hard line. Don't think that you have to prove you're right. Would you agree with that, Brandon? You said you were kind of nodding along. Do you think that's right? What he was trying to make the opinion of, don't just think you're right. What should you be doing during this conversation?
Taking in their side of the story.
By doing what? How do you take in their side of the story?
Listen.
Considering the facts.
Listen.
Like
Or just
say
listen.
you want to go drive with someone that's like,
Listening.
oh, I wasn't listening to you.
We understand. I do believe that's the point they were also trying making.
That's a good example, but
You are right though. You have to consider their facts. You have to consider their side of it by listening. Okay. Once you do that, then these other things come through.
Listen.
Dig for the deeper anxieties. What is it your parents are worried about? Wilder, it sounds like you did that with the four-wheeler, right? Okay. Remember their loving intentions. Do your parents have the best in mind for you? The best that they think is for you, or your grandparents? Do they the best that they believe in mind for you? So in other words, do they think they are doing the right thing for you when they make a decision?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they think they're like,
yeah.
oh yeah, they think they're doing the best thing.
Well, then
for
they
me.
actually could, because if it's like, I don't know, you could get killed by it and you don't see, you're like, oh, it'll be fun. Like, can I go skydiving?
Noah, you said, but it's not. Are you saying that because it doesn't line up perfectly with what you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That would be holding that viewpoint without flexing. Don't resist defending just your viewpoint. Wilder, were you able to get a four-wheeler that you were not going to be able to get in the first place? Was your mom going to block you from getting that four-wheeler? Okay. Did you still make a compromise with her that you would make sure your dad's around? If the minute you get hurt on that four-wheeler and your dad's not around, what's going to happen?
I buy four-wheeler.
You get in
If I
trouble.
bought it, I probably won't be able to ride it.
Probably won't be able to ride it, right? So then it'll be a really nice garage paperweight, wouldn't it? Okay. It'll hold a tarp down really well, won't it? Okay. So I think if you consider that and if you look through that, this is still support, right? This is support from your parents. Is this going too far? Is this not enough? Is this something they can meet in the middle? Okay. Just another article for you to consider before we start riding.